Welcome again, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as we have people from all around the world joining us. So I'm Simone Theis from the EPFL Innovation Park and Program Manager of Tech4Eva. Today we have a great program ahead. We'll start with an introduction on innovation and femtech industry in India by Jonas Brunswick of Swissnex India, followed by pitches from our 2023 cohort, a keynote talk by Tamil Selvan from Philips on his experience with the femtech market in India. And last but not least, we'll have a great panel discussion on breaking the taboos on women's health with some startup founders. I just would like to quickly introduce Tech4Eva to you, or to those who don't know Tech4Eva yet. Tech4Eva is an innovation platform in Switzerland for disruptive femtech startups worldwide to join forces with forward-thinking corporations to advance and improve technologies related to women's health. Our main objective is to accelerate women's health innovation around the world. Tech4Eva is Swiss-based, but an international equity-free startup acceleration program and a community with global reach through our networking partners. Through our startups, we offer workshops and knowledge on different topics via expert talks. We offer mentorship. There is some peer-to-peer sessions where the founders can exchange amongst themselves. And we also have, of course, events like these today to raise the awareness on the topic of femtech and also to encourage networking and partnerships. The companies and startups that apply and take part in the cohort come from different areas, including period health, pregnancy, postpartum, fertility, menopause, mental health, well-being, prevention, immune and heart diseases, oncology, brain and bone health diseases, and many more applications and solutions. We encourage you to apply. The next call for application will be opening in December this year for the 2024 cohort. Tech4Eva has gained some growing traction in the last 3 years and growing interest. This year we had 147 applications coming from 40 different countries. Most of the founders are women. That is no surprise because they want to, of course, take their health in their own hands and create solutions. I would like to highlight some of the Indian companies that are or have been going through the program of Tech4Eva. We have Asan, from which you will hear later on in the panel discussion. They are in the period health sector. We have Care Mother and Indigenous Biotech, which are in the maternal care and pregnancy areas, and Brew Medical, which are in the menopause area. Here are the companies that are going through the main cohort. We have 16 startups coming from mainly European countries, also Switzerland, the UK, and North America. You will hear from them later on through video pitches. This year we had a pilot cohort called Global South with 5 startups, 2 of which came from India, again, Care Mother and Indigenous Biotech, also Malaika, Natal Cares, and Self-Serve. We noticed in the many applications we received that many came from these underserved continents, and we believe that many solutions from our current cohort or other solution could be helping these underserved areas and continents. I would like to thank all of our network partners, including Swissnex India again, for their support in promoting the event and also putting together this great program today. I would like to leave the word now to Adrian Merila. He's the Innovation Associate at Swissnex India, and the floor is yours, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Simone, and thanks for handing it over to our small living room here at Swissnex in India. It's a pleasure for us to co-host with you, Tech4Eva, for this event. And for those who don't know Swissnex in India, we have here in the center CEO and simultaneously also the General Consul of Switzerland here in India, who will brief you quickly about what we are doing and how we are doing it here in India. Please.
Thank you, Adrian. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you in a virtual format, but I just want to say that we have an open doors policy in the beautiful community space of which you just see a little corner. So you're welcome to stop by anytime you find yourselves in Bangalore. I have the pleasure and the privilege of leading Swissnex in India. For those of you who do not know Swissnex, I like to call us a diplomatic anomaly. We are a rather unique diplomatic institution, one of 6 Swissnexes around the world, that has as a mission to connect Switzerland, in our case India, and the world in the fields of education, research, and innovation. And our vision is that we strive to accelerate positive transformations at the frontiers of knowledge. How do we do that? You've heard in the intro Tech4Eva saying that they're an innovation platform. Well, actually, we're just about to launch what we call the Indo-Swiss Innovation Platform. We'll go live with this on October 30th to try to inject a strategic dimension in the Indo-Swiss collaboration. We've identified 3 priority areas that over the next few years, we want to see more intense collaboration in between our 2 countries. Health, sustainability, and digital transformation are the 3 fields, obviously very broad fields. We'll have to become more specific, and we will be more specific in each of them. And we'll actually kick off with health with an antimicrobial resistance innovation dialogue between India and Switzerland taking place over 3 days at the end of this month. And it's in the context of this that we will launch this platform. The goal of our focus is to have more significant engagement, not just as Swissnex, but as a Swiss network in India. So that includes the Swiss Embassy, that includes the Swiss Business Hub, that includes the Swiss Agency for Cooperation and Development. All of the official Swiss stakeholders who are active in India are part of this Indo-Swiss Innovation Platform, and we will onboard other organizations with research institutions, as well as accelerators like Tech4Eva, as well as startups and corporates, and so on and so forth, to become part of this community and join the activities that we will do. Now, you've heard me speak about health, you've heard me speak about AMR, but of course, the topic of this virtual gathering here today is Femtech, a very important area, a rapidly growing area. The Femtech market in India in 2024 is projected at 4 billion. It has a compound annual growth rate of about 13%. So the trajectory is very clear what direction it is heading. And it actually reflects many of the other indicators that we are witnessing here in India. India is on a pace of rapid transformation. It is a transformation that is largely undergirded or underscored by scientific and technological advances. So in that sense, it is a fertile ground upon which to innovate, upon which to bring innovations to bear. At the same time, it is, like the rest of the world, not a place without its challenges. If we look at the challenges that women in India face in particular, they may be more acute than those, actually not maybe, they are more acute than those that women at large face in Switzerland or in Western Europe. And that means that the opportunity space to have a meaningful impact and to bring solutions that leverage technologies and approaches that are novel and finding ways to make them work in the context of India, where you have a very large population, the largest on earth now of any single country, where you have a very diverse population, where you have anything from extreme poverty to extreme wealth and what's in between. It's an arena that is ripe for folks to enter, and our job is to, in many ways, open the eyes of Switzerland to what the reality in India is today, because the perception of India is often guided more by stereotypes that are relatively dated. And that is not to say that there is no truth in stereotypes, but the reality, the actual reality that we experience here on a daily basis, sitting in Bangalore, an innovation hub that is really at the frontiers in many areas, are ones that warrant paying more and deeper and a closer look to India. And so we're, of course, delighted to be doing this activity with Tech4Eva, to have all of you be a part of it. And it is not a one-off for us. In fact, Deepika, who sits on my right, has spearheaded an initiative that we call Winspiration, which went live on May 31st, earlier this year. With a day-long programming, some of it in person and some of it hybrid as well, looking at what does it take to help women succeed in their careers through the various phases, you know, from early career, maternity to menopause. And very fertile ground for conversation. It's a novel field. Not novel in the sense that it didn't exist, but the conversations, sadly, are just starting to take place now. And we want to be part of catalyzing these conversations, more of these conversations. And so we're grateful that all of you are part of this virtual journey with us today, and hope that you will become part of more than the conversations that are going to happen after I finish my remarks, which is right now. So thank you for being here with us, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon or morning or evening, depending on where you are in the world.
Thank you for that great overview. So next we have the first group of our startups will be pitching via live videos, sorry. So here they are. The spotlight is on solutions.
High blood pressure disorders during pregnancy is the #2 killer, taking the lives of thousands of pregnant mothers and their unborn and newborn babies. 1 in 12 pregnancies are affected. 1 in 6 babies are born preterm, not only directly costing lives, but also indirectly affecting society. The Center for Disease Control estimates 3 out of 4 of these deaths are preventable. Together, we can prevent these maternal deaths by leveraging technology to better monitor health vitals during pregnancy and postpartum, sharing guidelines for moms and their caretakers to know more about hypertensive pregnancy disorders, symptoms, and care through referring women to a hospital that offers higher level of maternity care, and identifying and predicting which moms are at high risk early on, before week 27 in pregnancy, using electronic health records and artificial intelligence to help doctors. Adira Health provides impact for moms and their caretakers during and after pregnancy. We serve moms in rural regions who face complications and do not have access to advanced healthcare facilities. We leverage non-invasive, remotely collected clinical, general health, and mental health data starting at the first pregnancy checkup. This enables caretakers to provide truly data-driven, personalized care journeys outside of the clinics for their patients and families. Now, the combination of the power of artificial intelligence with a perinatal care coach who follows up on the health progress has the potential to lead to better pregnancy outcomes and save lives. We invite you to join us in our endeavor to save moms and babies' lives. Thank you.
Like many women, I had difficulty getting pregnant. After 2 years of treatment, my situation only got worse. You see, most of the fertility drugs were developed for use of no longer than 6 months. Instead, they're often used 2 to 5 years and can actually cause other forms of infertility, such as tooth and endometrium. The endometrium is like a topsoil inside of the uterus. It's a layer of blood vessels where the fertilized egg implants and is nourished. And just like topsoil, If this layer is too thin, the egg cannot implant and it dies. 26 million women worldwide suffer from this form of infertility due to natural or medical causes. This is about 1 in every 7 women. It's a well-known problem, but today there is no viable cure. I am Loanna Hasseltine, and I have created a patented device called LumaWomb. LumaWomb regenerates endometrial cells. Using near-infrared light, we're able to cure tooth and endometrium. Phototherapy is similar to photosynthesis. LumaWomb's light penetrates deep into the uterus, stimulating and healing endometrial cells. Our market is B2B, selling to equipment to OBGYNs. Worldwide, these practices spend $28 billion yearly in medical devices. LumaWomb has a retail cost of $40,000 with a 60% margin. Calculating a 10% penetration, we'll have a turnover of $56 million in just the US alone. Added revenue will come from consumables. LumaWomb offers clinics a strong value proposal. A one-time investment will provide clinics an annual return of more than 5 times their investment. Clinics will become competitive as their success rates improve, and patients will reduce the number of treatments needed to get pregnant. We are a team with the assets and the experience to facilitate this innovative and low-cost cure. Today, 26 million couples are locked out of parenthood, and LumaWomb's mission is to offer these couples the key to open that door.
Hi, I'm Penelope Finney. We believe all bodily functions should be treated the same way. We don't carry toilet paper around, so why should we have to carry around period products? We manufacture pads on a roll, a patented product that can be dispensed in every stall as easily as toilet paper. Periods are unpredictable. All women have been caught without a product when they are away from home, when they are at work, when they are at school. As a result, 23% of students don't come to school or leave school because of no period products. And everyone has had a negative experience with the vending machines that are sometimes out by the sink as they are broken, jammed, or empty. As a result, over 20 states have required that schools have to provide free period products. Prisons and shelters in some cities are being required to have free period products, and several cities such as Washington, D.C., Ann Arbor, Michigan, Austin, Texas, and El Paso are requiring that free period products exist in public buildings. We have been selling our products since February and are now working with several very large distributors across the country. We are in several school districts across the country, several large universities. We are now working with several cities and towns to provide free period products, as well as libraries and other businesses. We work with nonprofits in order to spread the word via advocates. So far, we have raised $2 million, and we have done all of this with 5 people. With the additional $10 million we would like to raise, we would like to build a non-prototype machine, add some more marketing people, increase our marketing budget, and work globally with the EU and UK, Africa, and Asia, as those are countries that have really expressed a lot of interest. And we would like to work on the patent globally. We are a team with a lot of experience, and we thank you for your time.
Hi everyone, I'm Nitya, co-founder of Rue Medical. We are on a mission to build transformative technologies for menopausal women. Menopause is a natural phenomenon that every woman has to go through. It comes with a long list of 34 recognized symptoms, of which hot flashes are the most common one. 75 to 80% of women suffer from this disruptive symptom on a daily basis. We at Rue Medical chose to solve this very problem and provide women with a comfortable, hands-free, and most importantly, an effective solution. CoolZen is a smart wearable that automatically detects the onset of a hot flash episode and provides instant relief using localized cooling effect. This, in turn, triggers the body's natural cooling mechanism to kick in and arrest the hot flash episode. It is worn on the back of the neck using a disposable adhesive strip, making it extremely discreet and easy to forget about. Early trials have shown 80% reduction in both duration and intensity of a hot flash episode. The duration of the episode has gone down from around 3 to 5 minutes on average to under 30 seconds. Our proprietary AI helps personalize this very therapy to every single woman using our smart sensor system. we understand that menopause cannot have a one-size-fits-all solution. Our technology is patent pending and has recently been UKCA and CE certified, making it ready for commercialization. We also have an app platform, Unpause, that allows women to manage their device, but also journal and track their other menopausal symptoms and treatments. Unlike any other product on the market, Coolzen requires no user intervention and works seamlessly to provide effective and instant relief. We plan to sell directly to women, making our solution extremely accessible through our website and various e-commerce platforms. So join us in our mission to unpause menopause.
Why is that some of us can cope with challenges in life, while others develop anxiety, burnouts, depression, sleep disorders? The answer is not in our brain, but in our gut. Today, most people with mental conditions do not improve. Here are the sad numbers. 40% of society suffer from mental problems. Only 25% are seeking help, and of those, up to 90% do not improve. The most important oversight is that people with mental conditions are not assessed for neurometabolic deficiencies in their gut, despite the fact that nutrients from foods are the essential building blocks of our mental health, and that our food is deficient in those essential nutrients. This is why we have developed and validated in a human pilot the first end-to-end neurometabolic assessment, interventions, and monitoring. Here's in short our solution. The neurometabolic assessment consists of a symptom questionnaire and the objective analysis of 25 neurobiomarkers in 4 dried urine probes taken by the customers at home. We process those 2 data sets digitally. Based thereon, a neurometabolic intervention is designed, consisting of personalized nutritional plans and nutraceuticals or functional food products. Our solution brings superior effectiveness into diagnosis or assessments and treatments of mental issues. Here is an example. Today, when persons with anxiety visit their specialist, they are assessed based on a subjective questionnaire, and they are typically treated with anti-anxiety medications and therapies. With our assessment, we see at least 3 metabolically different types of anxiety, which require different neurometabolic nutritional treatments, which, not surprisingly, bring superior effectiveness and improvement. Now, where are we on our journey to market? We prepared 2 clinical studies with expert teams of universities and hospitals. We prepare pilot projects and collaborations in different validated B2B2C channels. We work on finalizing our 2 million francs seed round, and we build the team that can deliver our ambitious business plan. Please join us to improve the mental health of millions by improving their metabolic health. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Bartholomew, and I'm the CEO of CAGR Health. And when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer at 28 years old and was handed a painful 84-year-old device called the static dilator that 1 in 3 women will be given to help with their pelvic health complications, I knew women deserved better. CAGR has created the first patented data-driven pelvic rehab system that includes a multi-therapy biosensor-based vaginal wand paired with a patient mobile app, which is remote monitored by clinicians using our software portal. And this tracks proprietary data set of gynecological markers. This device has significantly impacted pelvic symptoms for patients in early testing and will be targeting women with endometriosis, pelvic cancer, and vaginismus, while improving clinicians' functions and increasing revenue for pelvic floor physios, cancer centers, and OBGYNs. We're the only device on the $12 billion dilator market performing multiple therapies, collecting novel biosensor data, and conducting remote therapeutic monitoring in the area of pelvic health. And we're making this happen with our talented team supported by leading KOLs and industry experts. I'm a two-time entrepreneur with previous exits, leading a team of 14 majority female and diverse members. And our traction has been significant with 107 secured LOIs with clinicians in 4 hospitals, 7 different clinical trials on the go, and 770 patients on our waiting list. We recently closed our seed round of funding, which will get us a regulated, clinically validated, and commercial-ready product for our 2024 launch of HiIV. And we're currently seeking investor connections for our future Series A round. Thank you so much for your time today.
My name is Josefa. I'm a designer and founded Palpa during my degree project when Jovita, a very close person to me, felt something on her breast, but she kept telling herself it was a fat lump and ignored it. Years later, she found out that the same lump had evolved into a 4th-stage breast cancer. Every 15 seconds, a woman is diagnosed with this disease, and every year more than 200,000 cases are diagnosed in women under the 40s, women like me that can't have mammograms and can only self-exam. But almost none of them does it every month, mainly because they don't know how to do it and neither remember to do it. So that is how and why I designed Palpa, an educational device that can be used in the shower to train breast self-exam and to remember it. So you fill the silicone breast with liquid soap, and inside of it, you can feel the simulation of a tumor. While you touch the breast, the soap will be released through the massager so you can massage your body and then try to find something similar as the tumor, but in your own breast. And also, you can have a better sliding and skin sense over the breast because of the soap. So Palpa helps creating habits since a younger age so women can know their bodies and distinguish changes on time. Being the only domestic product that simulates also a tumor and trained breast self-exam gave us an invention patent. Our revenue model today is consists in wholesale for companies seeking to do social campaigns in human resources area or marketing campaigns. Also, we partner with public governments so we can reach women who can't access the product, neither education by their own means. And finally, direct to consumer for all women who wants to begin this journey of breast self-care. So since October of 2021, we've reached over 75,000 women, partnered with more than 100 companies, and 12 women detected tumors. Now the next step is to take Palpa outside of Chile in order to reach women around the world, because far beyond a product, it is a change of culture and mind.
I'm Claire Dixon, the CEO and co-founder of Neurora. I'm driven to make a difference in women's health because of my own journey with infertility. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is one of the most profound chronic health conditions. Loop by Neurora will be the first effective and widely accessible solution. A bioelectronic wearable translating the research of our advisor, Dr. Steiner Victorian, and validated in our own preliminary human studies. It'll leverage Neurora's patented microelectrode technology in a device that's easy to use and available over the counter without a prescription. We've already confirmed a 510(k) regulatory pathway and pre-sales of up to $1 million from a leading Canadian online pharmacy. Affecting almost 1 in 5 women, PCOS is a large white space commercial opportunity, but our impact doesn't end there. Later, targeting prediabetes and diabetes in a reimbursed weekly disposable. We're seeking qualified investors for our seed raise and channel partners in the US and other jurisdictions. Thank you.
Perfect. So thank you very much for these very dense but informative pitches. I think that all contribute from a very different angle. Coming now from a more global perspective, I would like to refocus again on our regional focus of India. And for this, I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Tamiselvan as our keynote speaker. Mr. Tamiselvan leads the Women's Health Program here in India, an exciting space to work with partners and market to bring innovative solutions end-to-end to address the current challenges in women's health. And he combines technical expertise, so there are 5 patents under his name, and his keen business acumen and customer need identification as a consumer marketing director with dynamic innovation in the consumer health segment as an NBX venture leader, but also in consumer health at Philips particularly. And he's a global citizen with work experience across diverse geographies. And Mr. Tamisela now leads a consumer-centric innovation for the health tech segment. I'm very happy to welcome you as our keynote speaker.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Good. So apologies, I could not share any presentation because it's still work in progress. So thanks for the introduction. It was really encouraging to hear a lot of exciting innovations in different spaces in Femtech. So what I wanted to start off with is we as Philips are a health technology company, and currently I'm part of the business unit Mother and Childcare, where you all probably are familiar with Philips Avent, the baby bottles, the baby warmers, and the soothers. So I just wanted to articulate a little bit on where do we see some opportunities and what are the challenges in this space. So having living abroad for 20 years in the Netherlands and Singapore, I just returned to India last November and started to lead this venture for women's health based out of Bangalore. So our goal in Philips for Mother and Childcare is to improve the lives of 20 million parents and also their babies around the world. And in India alone, as you know, is one of the highest born babies in India. It's around 1.5 million babies that we wanted to improve lives. So when we look at Femtech, and also a lot of participants who have been talking about opportunities in different spaces, one of the things that where we realized is to have a longer consumer lifetime value and also improving women's in their different stages of life. So at this moment, we connect with women when they are, say, 2 to 6 weeks pregnant, and then through our Pregnancy Plus app, which is one of the most downloaded apps for pregnancy, information and engagement through their journey. And then we have the Philips event, and then the 1,000 days of journey with Philips. But what we realized in India, it's a very different potential to address women at the early life stages. And one of the things is one size doesn't fit all here. I mean, global strategy of what works in US or Europe, doesn't always work in India. So here, just now before I was about to speak, I think we talked about PCOS. So PCOS in India is one of the highly prevalent. Just to give you some numbers, there are around 60 million women with PCOS versus 80 million women with diabetes. So diabetes is, the awareness is very high, whereas the PCOS, the awareness is very low, and it's on the rise. And just before this meeting, I was also in a connect with few healthcare providers virtually. The awareness is very low, and women, as the young girls around, even starting from 15 to 18, their periods are getting irregular, and that's where a first trigger to see a OBGYN. And typically, as India, parents are very well informed. They start to Google and they take a scan and they go to the doctors. And often it needs a proper diagnosis. So that's one of the things that, is very important, that there is multicystic ovary syndrome and there is polycystic ovary syndrome. So there's quite a difference between these two, and it needs a proper diagnosis to have the correct conclusion of polycystic ovary syndrome. And polycystic ovary syndrome is why it is the ovaries that produces eggs for women releases excess amount of androgen, which is a male sex hormone, which creates a lot of side effects with irregular period cycles, irregular in ovulation, and also during their pregnancy they have challenges, and post-pregnancy they even have lactation challenges. So we as Philips brand, I think we believe that we could play an end-to-end role, addressing women with PCOS from the beginning, bringing them through the journey of pregnancy and post-pregnancy. So having spent some time in India the past 6 to 7 months, first of all, the opportunity is there. Because if you go to a OBGYN, you get a point solution of, okay, lose weight, you probably will, improve your periods regularity, and that ends the care. So I think it would be good to see an ecosystem of where the care is continued in an engaging in a digital way, so that we see an opportunity. And I also talked about the numbers. So the numbers are quite, I would say, the size of price is very high. And starting earlier and addressing it earlier will bring some very positive improvement in their, I would say, health overall. So what are the challenges? I think, in typical lifestyle changes scenario, I think probably you will also know from many of the apps, bringing compliance and, creating the engagement to bring in the behavior change is the hardest thing to do. So how do we create that engagement in a fun way, in a way that suits their daily routine of the woman? Because here, people work very hard. People work long hours, they don't have time for a lot of things in the morning or in the evening. So how do you read them? How do you engage them? How do you fit into their little time that they have and create that, engagement to bring about a change in nutrition and fitness? I think that needs call for, I would say, innovation across the entire ecosystem. The point I want to stress is what works in US or Europe doesn't always work here, because it's a very different market, very different lifestyle of people. So it needs a custom, really entering into the shoes of the woman. How do they go about their day? How can we, create that engagement of a community that helps them to reinforce that they cannot do it alone, and they need someone to handhold them to improve them. Second is all about who has the highest engagement. So which channel do you recruit, right? You can recruit via social media, you can recruit via D2C channel, but about creating partnership with the healthcare providers, it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. I think that's where I think we are trying to focus our efforts on. And the third challenge is, can you create a scalable solution in India that can sustain profitability? Because we are talking about services of nutrition and fitness. So how do you have the right balance of human connect versus artificial intelligence? That's the big buzzword here. Everything is, a chatbot, but that's the right flavor of human connect, and AI is where innovation is needed, so that you can keep the cost down, but you can keep the engagement very high, and you can also, bring a positive outcomes in. So those are the challenges. And I would say no one has really cracked PCOS in India, nor even globally. So it is really a space where it needs an ecosystem of players together to create, I would say, a positive change in improving women's life. So I think those are the key inputs that I would like to share. And we are still in a very early stage, but I'm very confident that there is something in this field that will, help also a lot of the other players as well to see where the opportunities lie, to create a partnership that works win-win both parties, and also and creating a very positive change in behavior, and also bringing more people into the franchise to help improve their I would say the condition over a period of time. So that's all I would like to share. Thanks a lot. I hope it was useful.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Mr. Thambisilvan, also for pointing out these 4 pain points that are characteristic to the Indian market, particularly, that it's a very different market to anywhere else in the world. To stay in time, actually, we just continue. If you have time, we're also happy.
Yeah, yes, I have time.
Okay, so just have a look to Simone. Can we maybe have some questions?
Yes, of course. If there are any questions in the audience, turn on your microphone and video, or you can put it in the chat.
There are some particular questions to the Indian market. We're very happy to address them.
or if you need a bit of time, we can take it after the videos, maybe.
Yeah.
So feel free to put it in the chat if you have any questions. We'll address them after the second group of videos that we will launch now. Thank you.
Okay, then we go to the videos and we then take the questions in the chat right after that.
Today, I am pleased to introduce PrediLife that innovates in the field of predictive medicine for breast cancer. As a woman, I'm totally affected. I would like to know what is my breast cancer risk to anticipate. Did you know that the breast cancer is the most common cancer worldwide? 576,000 new cases in Europe in 2020, and 30% are fatal. 20% new cases are women under 50, women who are not part of national screening campaigns. The biggest problem to solve is that the high-risk women are not identified. 3/4 of breast cancer have no family history. We have the answer to this issue. We identify women at risk. We have developed a unique breast cancer predictive test combining genetic data, mammographic density, medical data, and family history. It allows a personalized follow-up for early detection from 50 years old. Women at high risk benefit from a better follow-up with adapted medical examination. Early detection of breast cancer allows less invasive treatment and a better chance of survival. Our breast cancer prediction test was selected by the EU for the largest European clinical trial on 55,000 women in 8 countries. We market our test to doctors and hospitals, as well as to companies as a health checkup for their employees. This is a massive market opportunity. Firstly, the employee benefits market. All companies of all sizes and in all sectors of activity are involved. Secondly, the use of personalized screening for 125 million women in Europe.
I've experienced the joy of a happy family, but I also know the pain of infertility. It's a struggle faced by millions of couples worldwide. Many dream of parenthood, but are left heartbroken by failed attempts, just as I was for 6 long years. At Indian Fertility, we are changing the game for fertility treatment. How? We've developed AI-powered technologies that increase every couple's chance of becoming parents. The current method, in vitro fertilization, is costly, emotionally draining, and only 30% successful. We are here to fix that. With a team of 30 AI and medical specialists, we've crafted 2 game-changing technologies. We designed an application to assist embryologists in the crucial task of selecting embryos. By using advanced AI, we transformed a subjective process into an objective one. This technology gives every couple an equal chance, regardless of the embryologist's experience. Then we rewrote the story of ultrasound ovarian monitoring, a crucial treatment step. In the past, multiple clinics visits were a roadblock for many. Our solution breaks those barriers by allowing tests in local gynecological offices. Our AI delivers precise results online, bridging the gap between the patient and the clinic. Well, the infertility market value is today $33 billion, growing at 8% annually, with global infertility cases rising by 10%. We target IVF clinics worldwide to supercharge their efficiency and slash costs. Currently, we are partnering with clinics to validate our tech, but we need your support. We're asking for $2.5 million to fund clinical trials and certification. Join us in making dreams come true, changing lives and reshaping the world of fertility treatment. Thank you. My name is Ula Sankowska and I'm CEO of MIM Fertility.
1 couple out of 6 is infertile, and this number is increasing yearly. But do you know what's worse than having such a medical condition? Absence of diagnosis, also known as idiopathic infertility. That's what 1 woman out of 5 and 1 man out of 2 have to go through. In other terms, no available test in the market can explain the reason behind their condition. That leads to years of medical wandering and guesswork-based treatment. At Beyond Genomics, we have developed the only test in the world capable of diagnosing every infertility, idiopathic included. In fact, the common denominator between infertile patients, idiopathic or not, is a defect in DNA damage repair and premature aging. Aging is reflected in what is known as aging hallmarks, whereas DNA damage repair is reflected in telomeres, which are the end caps of our chromosomes. But there was no technology in the market sensitive enough, yet scalable, capable of analyzing these biomarkers. It took us 30 years, but we have invented one and clinically validated it for infertility, but not only. Given that your telomeres and aging hallmarks are synchronized within your body, we only need one blood drop to assess whether you are fertile or not, and or to explain your infertility if it is idiopathic, to better guide you towards a personalized treatment. Our technology is the market leader in telomeres analysis and is patented internationally and nationally granted, clinically validated for infertility, among others, and ongoing FDA approval. Founded only 2 months ago, we are already selling our tests in collaboration with 2 Swiss clinics. We are financially supported by major institutions, including Swiss Ministry of Economy and the Swiss Innovation Agency. We are open for collaborations, and may you need to assess your fertility status, our tests are available for sale. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
I am Monica, co-founder of Marina MedTech, and our goal is to boost IVF success. 190 million people worldwide are affected with infertility. And in vitro fertilization, one of the preferred infertility treatments, has success rates below 40%. The process is long, 3 cycles on average, expensive, 10,000 euros per cycle, and emotionally devastating. 50% of patients give up. The leading cause of IVF failure is embryo transfer, which depends on 2 main factors: embryo quality and uterine readiness for embryo transfer. Nowadays, producing and selecting high-quality embryos is possible, but there is no way to ensure the uterus is ready for embryo implantation. We have developed Synchrony, a first-in-class medical device that detects uterine readiness for embryo transfer. Unlike the standard of care, which is counting days, or the available test needing tissue biopsies and days for results, Synchrony is accurate, non-invasive, and results are immediate. Synchrony is based on detecting a new patented biomarker of uterine receptivity and using a machine learning-powered decision support tool, allowing highly effective embryo transfer. Our business is a monthly subscription for the device and software, and ultra-thin probes are sold as single-use devices. Our initial clients are private clinics in Europe, Japan, and the USA, with an addressable market of 2 billion euros. With a target launch in 2025, the next steps are optimizing the technology, completing pre-series manufacturing, and conducting a pivotal clinical trial for CE marking. Synchrony aims to become the newest standard of care in embryo transfer procedures, and we shall open a new round in Q1 2024, and we invite you to join our vision that women undergoing IVF need a single IVF cycle to achieve a successful pregnancy. Thank you.
Welcome to MENA, the smartest therapeutic wearable period. If you'd like to have an impact in probably what is one of the largest markets within the femtech sector, then MENA is that impact. It uses a proprietary form of microcurrent technology that addresses the root cause of period pain, not just the symptomatic relief. Using an AI algorithm on app-based software, it hyper-personalizes to the user or individual's needs rather than just a blanket approach for symptomatic pain relief. This is the next phase of healthcare. This is the future of healthcare, and this is the future of the consumerization of healthcare. It addresses a market that affects a large proportion of particularly younger girls globally, that has an impact in both their social economic status as well as things like schooling and work and days missed of work and productivity. We are ready to bring this product to market and can bring it to market within 12 to 18 months, but we'd like to find the right commercial or investor partner to do so. So we'd love to hear from you. We're looking to raise around $2 million USD euro to make this happen, please get in touch and we look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, my name is Amila Radita. I am a neuroscientist and the co-founder and CEO of Samphire Neuroscience. At Samphire Neuroscience, we're trying to address the fact that most women won't have solutions for their women's health needs that have been neglected before. We believe that menstrual health is mental health. In fact, 4 out of the 5 concerns that bother women the most around their periods are mental rather than physical, such as low mood, anxiety, irritability, anger, instability, and throughout. We know that about 82% of women self-identify as experiencing these symptoms based on a survey of over 32,000 women in the Netherlands. Furthermore, we know that the average woman will lose over 23 days every single year of productivity every single year just to PMS symptoms alone. And if any of that sounds surprising, it's because 76% of them would never tell their boss that that's the case. And so because of that, we developed the Samphire headband. The Samphire headband is our proprietary neurotechnology device that is completely wearable and looks like this hairband right here. You wear it on the top of your head, and with 20-minute sessions of stimulation, you're able to relieve the symptoms of PMS and menstrual pain, controlled by the 2 different parts of the hairband. This makes it the first medical solution for PMS symptoms, such as low mood, anxiety, insomnia, and irritability, as well as reduces pain sensitivity, which leads to most women not needing to take painkillers during their periods as well. So far, over the last 18 years that we've been in activity, we have received UK grants that have helped us in our R&D process. We have built up our proprietary prototypes. We have patent pending technology since then, and at the moment we are undergoing our EU CE marking as well as US FDA clearance for our Class 2A medical device. We're excited to be joining and we're excited to be launching in the EU and the US in Q1 2024. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gaia, and I'm co-founder of HALE. We are on a mission to become Europe's first virtual clinic for female pain, starting from the most under-researched conditions like endometriosis, vulvodynia, and many other intimate pain conditions. These pathologies impact 1 woman out of 4, and they affect physical functionalities, mental well-being, and sexual health. Daily care is essential to manage these conditions effectively and make treatment effects long-lasting. Our first product is a digital care app to manage pain at home. The app allows users to track their symptoms daily and receive personalized insights, reports, and treatment plans based on their data and their goals, covering everything from physiotherapy to mental health. We've just raised our pre-seed round and built the product, onboarding the first 100 users in the first month. We currently have an 80% retention rate and very high engagement rates as well. Our business model is a B2C subscription freemium model, but we're soon expanding into B2B agreements and partnerships as well. And for instance, we're developing right now a collaboration with a German university to conduct a study together. To reach our vision, we're going to soon complement our digital home offering with a more medical counterpart, allowing patients to actually build and pick their own virtual care kit. We are here today because we want to make a real and significant impact on women's health, and we're looking for partners, investors, and potential collaborators that share our vision. If you're one of those, I'd be happy to connect and explore how we can make a difference together. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. So again, we got a glimpse of a very diverse femtech ecosystem through the pitches. And before we move on to our panel discussion, I would like to take some time for the 2 questions that were raised, referring to the keynote speech. Mr. Tamil Selvan, I would like to maybe start with 1 question about the regulatory environment in India. And that one, oh, where did it go? Don't have it in front of me. Maybe someone could, here. Okay, so also, what works from a regulatory requirement for India? So I think it's a very broad question, but
okay. So what I know so far is the wellness services. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So the wellness services around nutrition and fitness is a non-medical app. It is not, doesn't cover under a medical app condition. So I think that's a good news. But it all depends on the go-to market, right? So are you entering via direct to consumer, or are you entering via healthcare providers? If you enter via healthcare providers, of course you have to integrate into their backend and system, and there we need to follow certain guidelines, which I think it's based on the situation of the different partners. But if it's direct to consumer, my understanding is that it is a non-medical app. So there, because it is similar to what Healthify Me or other app that are already out there in India, but it's all about positioning it as a wellness app. So that's my understanding. Depends on this is what I'm talking about is more for the PCOS condition.
Thank you very much for your elaborations. The other question that was raised was more about the healthcare institutions and the relations with them that you maybe experienced at Philips. So what are the challenges in engaging with physicians and clinics in regards to introducing new innovations here in India?
Well, that's a very, very good question. So, it takes time. So first of all, you need to have, that's why I'm talking to healthcare providers, as part of my job every week, right? Because you need to first interact, understand their pain points, and also try to have, I would say, a pilot that can co-create with them. Because once you see a success with one partner, and that builds on as a success story for the rest of the partners to follow. So it is a long process in India. What my understanding is, because they have other priorities to do, right? So how do you create a win-win for them? So trying to create what's in it for them and what's in it for the other brand, and to create that synergy to co-create. So I would say co-creation is an important process that needs to happen before it can become a successful pilot or even scale up to other partners. So that's my experience so far, and I think it is working. It is working, that I can say.
So really bringing everyone on the same page, that is important.
Exactly. It takes time, and also because you have to bring in the right business model engagement. So what's in it for them? What's in it for us? I mean, it sounds simple, but that's the most hardest part, right? And how do you create that, and how can you sustain that? How do you prove that it can really, in the end, we have to live for our brand promise, and they also need to live for their customer vision and mission. So it needs to click. Yeah, so that would be my input at this moment.
Thank you very much for your elaborations on that question as well. I think with regard to our schedule, we move on. I hand it over to Simone to introduce to the next part. We cannot hear you.
Okay, last but not least, we have a great panel discussion for you on the topic of breaking the taboos on women's health. Smita Malipatil will moderate this session and present the speakers. Smita has over 25 years experience in the tech and offshoring space as an entrepreneur, a mentor, and an angel investor. She runs a tech company as a CEO of AppSeco currently, and her focus at TIE as a board member continues to revolve on women empowerment. So I'll leave the floor to you, Smita, Ira, one of our alumni, and Sanjit from Mira.
Thank you very much, Simone, and Swissnex for having me, Ira, and Sanjit here today. Hi, everybody. Thanks for logging in. Last hour has been very, useful and learning for me as well. And the startups, of course, very inspiring. All women-led, I was going to say, but then we had one man, so almost all women-led. So yay. I'm glad that women's equality is here, no longer just a theoretical topic. but in actual reality, right? We run companies, we run governments, we won Nobel Prizes, we've reached the moon, like literally. You must have heard of India's moon landing, Chandrayaan. There were 8 key women involved in the project. Of course, my side joke is that because it's been a serious 1 hour, is that Chandrayaan landed on the moon because there were women driving that mission. Left to men would have turned right and gone and landed on Mars or something. But jokes aside, all this talk of women empowerment is still largely centered on education and livelihoods when you look at it globally. These are important issues, but somehow when it comes to women and healthcare, we seem to be not as focused, fairly cosmetic, again, literally. Any deeper than that, and we sort of hesitate. Fertility, yes, women's health is taking some prominence. And women, when you look at them, right, are the lifeblood for everybody. But when it comes to women's blood and related health issues, we sort of cringe. Talk about menopause or even menstrual health is very quietly sidestepped. The closest we've come to it, at least in Indian mass media, has actually had the word man attached to it. There's a movie called Pad Man, which is about sanitary health, but hey, there's a man in the name. Which is why it's really, really inspiring for me to see femtech accelerators like Tech4Eva bringing this mainstream. So today's panel is on breaking the taboos on women's health. And with me are 2 pioneers and experts in this space, Ira and Sanjit. Quick introductions to both. Ira is the co-founder for ASAN. It's a menstrual health venture with the mission to eradicate period poverty. Ira is also an alumni for Tech4Eva. She's designed and patented a new menstrual cup at the Harvard Innovation Lab, reusable for 10 years, which is phenomenal given, how much landfill traditional sanitary devices take. Sanjit Shetty is a self-made entrepreneur and dedicated to empowering women. He's the founder and interim CEO of Mirror, which is a femtech company working to break the silence around menopause. I'm going to ask a couple of questions and then open it up to the audience. So if you do have questions as audience, please feel free to type them in and we'll pick them up at the end of this panel discussion. So Ira and Sanjit, thank you for joining us. First one, leading you into this space is I would love to hear from you as to what your motivation was to get into what you're doing today and how you started your journey in the femtech space. We'll do it in alphabetical order. Ira?
Sure. Thank you so much, Smita, for that introduction, and really nice to be here today. I was on the first cohort of the Tech4Eva when it launched a few years ago. So it's really nice to be back and to listen to everyone's pitches. So I am from Bangalore, which I think both Smita and Sanjit are also from, Bangalore in South India. And I didn't know much about menstrual health. I was working in consulting actually in London, and I first learned about menstrual health in India by an interaction I had with a cook who was working in my mom's house in Bangalore, who started missing work during her period because the low quality pads that she was using were giving her such bad rashes. And Smita talked about this movie Pad Man, and there's like this really big push for pads, but when pads are forgetting, the landfill waste and all of that, if they're not well designed, if they're made from poor quality materials, women and girls actually stop using pads, throw them away and switch back to rags. So I gifted the cook who I was working with a menstrual cup and saw how it completely changed her life. She was able to go to work on her period easily. This led me to think a lot more about how the most innovative period care solutions exist in, specific markets, primarily in, Europe and the US, North America, and are not accessible in the global South. And I really wanted to create an innovative period solution that exists absolutely for everybody, no matter your income, no matter where you're from. So the ASAN cup is designed to be the easiest menstrual cup to insert and remove. That's the ASAN cup. And for everyone we sell globally, we donate one for free to a woman or girl in rural India who can't afford safe period care.
Thank you, Ira. Lovely. And as somebody who's used the product, I can completely vouch for its convenience and its ease of use. Sanjit, what motivated you to get into femtech and start your femtech journey, please?
So thank you, Smita, and friends at SwissNext. Thank you for giving the right focus and opportunity to really talk about what's really happening in the world of perimenopause and beyond care, at least in this part of the world. So someone told me about femtech some 28 months ago. We had heard about fintech, we knew about edtech, but I was really intrigued by this word called femtech. Me and my colleagues studied some 300 companies, saw the great work happening around menstrual health, saw great work happening around maternal health. But shockingly, I saw very little being done for perimenopausal women and beyond, which is perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, and then postmenopause, right? So for me, that was a shocker, because if you look at the target group, it's strong, independent women who are pillars in their home, pillars in society, pillars at the workplace, very confident, but yet were not talking at all about this space. So me, my colleagues actually ran various sessions with academia, with doctors, with women who are suffering, and saw that there's so much happening around menopausal care, especially in the UK. It's not even the US, but the UK has stolen the march over the rest of the world. They've really done some path-breaking stuff. And I said, it's time that, someone, and it's, I love that being a man, I felt, if a husband, the partner, the father, father-in-law, the son and the brother understood what the woman goes through, and she goes through this for a long phase of her life, sometimes 25, 30 years, and sometimes having up to 40 symptoms. So if these men around the woman understand what she's going through, immediately she gets a support network. And I felt, let me try and be that man. And I'm glad I got into it. And a lot of women have joined us and supported us. So I'm glad I'm doing this. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjit. Very interesting to know that you are spearheading this, so to speak, for Femtech. Continuing along the whole, men in Femtech piece, also looking at the whole, the other startups that were there around fertility and again, menopausal health. It would seem what you said is a no-brainer, which is get men involved, and that's when the taboos start to break, right? But that's still just a thought, right? What can be done, and what in your experience has worked in getting men involved in the femtech movement? And I think whether it is, whether it's infertility, whether it's breast cancer, which becomes a family thing, or it's menstrual health or menopausal health, I think men alongside women need to be educated as well. So do you have any, learnings that you've had that you can share with the cohort and people on this in the audience to see how they can involve men? What are men's myths and taboos and how to break them effectively?
So, before we go to the men, I really would like the women itself to understand, because having spoken to so many of my friends, educated, they're like, either some are in denial, some people think it's such a natural phase of their life. I get this answer, what are you fixing when nothing is broke? It's such a natural phase. My mother went through it, my grandmother did, everything was hunky-dory. So I think first, it would be nice that the woman, so many women have to just get themselves educated on hormonal health. That's the first thing. Secondly, this whole premenstrual, syndrome, this whole PMS thing has led such a bad connotation. Men sometimes, the hormonal health really upset, because it's not a cut or a bruise that someone else can see from the outside. It's hormonal health, which is inside. So what the man or anyone around the woman doesn't see is what she's going through inside. So I think this education, that it's not going to be noticeable, right? It's something that the woman is going through. And he should be so sensitive to that. I myself, I must say, have become such a better human being. I think, it's brought a different side to me. And I really encourage, I go on podcasts, I have a lot of reels put out there just to tell men that, you have no idea what they go through, 40 symptoms. And literally, I was shocked to see the symptoms myself. That if you understand what they go through, you naturally will just put your arm around them and saying, listen, I understand, don't worry, I'm with you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Ira, from what you've been doing and, your work with India specifically, what are the myths that you have found perpetrating around female health? And how have you, as Asan and your team, overcome these?
So I think the first thing I would say, Smita, is that the number one myth that I think I had in my own head, which I had to unlearn, which I think many of us here today, even though we work in Femtech, probably have, is this idea of maybe a Indian woman or girl in rural India in a sari who has all of these taboos around periods and hides on her period, and oh my gosh, all of the Indian taboos. And one thing I would like to make really clear is that in Asan's experience working in many countries, taboos around periods exist everywhere, right? They're just different. There are taboos in the UK, there are taboos in the US, there are taboos in India. You know, I'm sure all of you growing up, wherever you grew up, had certain cultural norms around periods. Maybe you hid tampons and you were embarrassed of leaks. All of those are taboos. So the first thing, kind of bit of unlearning I had to do is think that taboos only exist in India. And I think taking that a step further with Asan's work, this idea that, urban spaces are extremely liberated and it's really like rural spaces where very strong taboos exist, I think is again not accurate of our experience working in many different contexts. So one thing that we found is that the acceptance of the Asan menstrual cup is actually highest in rural India. And that's for many reasons. Firstly, the need is greatest. If you're using a really poor quality sanitary pad, or if you're using, cloth rags that you have to spend many hours scrubbing, of course, you're going to be extremely open to an innovative solution that's going to make your life easier. So we've actually found, uptake to be higher in rural areas where you might think that taboos are greater. And then the other point I would make about, overcoming a taboo anywhere in any context is that education needs to be provided from a trusted source. For example, my first language is English. I'm from Bangalore. For me to go into a completely, different village in rural Karnataka and say, everybody needs to use the Asan cup, there's a huge lack of trust in that communication. So the education always has to come from someone who looks like you, who you might know personally, who you can relate to. So our model is really extremely decentralized peer learning. So we might, give the Asan cup to a few social health workers in a village, let them experience it. If they like it and they want to promote it, then they will teach or explain it to other women in their village. Similarly, if you look at, an Indian city like Bombay or Bangalore, or if you look at, London, it again will use social media like TikTok or Instagram to have somebody who looks like you, who you relate to, who you trust to do that education. And I think that's how you really can overcome taboos.
Yeah, so thank you. I mean, for me, I think the biggest myth you've busted, and I think that's a great learning for everybody who's listening in, including myself, is the fact that our whole concept of urban India and rural India has changed. What I heard Ira say is that women in urban India now, thanks to the internet and various other communication devices, are aware and are progressive, right? So when you are looking at exploring Southeast Asia as a market, or any market, really do your own research, get down to ground level, see what's happening, and then find ways to connect. And I think this goes across everything, not just Femtech, I think FMCG, through to retail, to find the right connection, get them to relate to your product, and then you're able to make inroads. So that's really lovely, Ira. Thank you so much for that gem. I think that's brilliant. And talking about that, and also the fact that there was a question in there. You guys obviously don't run your initiatives as non-profits, because that's how healthcare traditionally is treated. I think innovations, need have some cost to it and need to be, taken care of. So, do you have any insights on how you have sustained your business so far? Right. Let's speak specifically as India as a geography, because we're talking from Swissness Bangalore. How have you sustained your business? And do you have any, maybe top 3 tips and tricks that have worked for you that you'd like to share with people in the audience?
There you go. Yeah. So for us, luckily the whole valuation, the investor interest landscape has changed, a few years ago, because I raised my first private equity money in 2004. So that's nearly 19 years ago. And I saw it was very different then. And, it was all about eyeballs and how many people come to your website and how many footfalls, how many followers. Now it's about value. It's about revenues. It's about how many people are actually buying it? Are they coming again to buy it? So that has really, really, helped us. So for us, whatever we do, because We are trying to be the Amazon for menopause, right? So if you want doctor support, we have that. You want, lab support, we have that. You want products, and see, there are 40 symptoms, right? So health can come from medical, it can come from, Ayurveda, it can come from nutrition, it can come from exercise, fitness, and various nutraceuticals. It can even come from sleep solutions. It can come from clothing, because you have hot flushes and night sweats, and there is specialized clothing for that. So I have a full team looking only into that. So we are actually developing our own brand of nutraceuticals, seeing which are the great ingredients. I didn't even know there's something called lion's mane and black cohosh, and being a guy, we usually just give us multivit and we are okay, right? So that's such a misnomer. So we've actually gone into various paths of monetization, and it's amazing. There's so much can be done. It is a profitable business. And I'm glad I'm part of it.
Thank you. Any tips and tricks, Sanjit, that you want to share?
So we just started off. So we have to, and I've been part of 3 failed startups, right? And for me, my big experience was, you raise money and then it's euphoric, right? You're like, okay, that's it. I've raised money and now I can start hiring people left, right, and center. I can go to retreats to Phuket. I can have meetings at the Taj West End. No, none of that. You have to be very, very frugal in spend, and I'm very, very careful in how I spend money. We have, even my hire, I'm very, very cost conscious. So the only trick I say is the old Indian ways. Every penny saved is a few more earned.
Thank you. And Ira, how about you?
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree around revenue. So again, with Asan, the great thing is it's a product company. We sell our product. So pretty much from the day we launched, we had revenue. So focusing on getting revenue as early as possible, getting to a specific number of paying users, that's how you can show your traction and attract investment, definitely. And then my tip for attracting investment, I think, so we've just closed a seed raise with mainly impact investors and angel investors. And I think what I learned is just being extremely clear about the type of business you're trying to build, because there's so many different, pools of funding out there. But if you are super clear and, honest and transparent about what you're trying to build, then you'll attract the right investor. And Asan is a completely purpose-driven business. We really put eradicating period poverty front and center as our purpose. And that means that we have to make certain decisions about, where we'll be in 5 years or 10 years and what that looks like. And so building that out and communicating that extremely, upfront in a very authentic way, I think enabled us to attract the right kind of investors for our business.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, 2 more questions. I'm very conscious of time, and then we'll open it up to the audience. One interesting point you made, right? Because you're a product company and Sanjit is running effectively services. How different is it when you're doing a product-led femtech company versus a services-driven one? And 1 point from each of you, I think, would help the audience.
Yeah, Sanjit, you go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a hybrid. We have services because we provide doctor services, lab services, as well as products. So is there a difference? It has to work. It has to be really good. Else don't put it out. So, in fact, we stress on repeat customers. So for us, quality of delivery, be it in a service or quality of the product in terms of its efficacy, is very, very important.
Yeah, we just add Asan is, of course, a product company because we sell a period cup and related products. But where, the services, which I guess are unpaid, comes in is all of the training and education and content that goes around how to safely use our product. And investing in that service, I think, actually improves the product. So you do need to think about it in a hybrid way.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good to know. One last question, also a question that was asked earlier. Ira, you run you said your products out not just in India, but globally as well. You've launched in different markets. What are the differences that you have noticed in launching Asan in the EU versus in India?
So Asan really strongly believes that everyone, no matter where they're from, should have access to the highest quality period care. So as you said, Smitha, we sell the exact same product with the same packaging, you know, in Europe and in India. I think what I have learned that you have to adapt is your messaging. So definitely your marketing, we find that different messaging hits differently. I think in the UK and Europe, we've definitely learned that the sustainability messaging is much stronger. So one Asan cup averts the waste of 2,500 pads or tampons. So our messaging is very focused on our sustainability, our one-for-one donations. In India, slightly different messaging works. Definitely, I think education and awareness about health. So, you know, what are the plastics and the toxins contained in the period products you're using? What impact does that have? Affordability is a big message. So, you know, how much are you spending on pads in a 10-year period and how much could you be saving? So while the product is absolutely the same, the messaging that goes around it is quite different in different markets.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very insightful. And Sanjit, do you have, I mean, I know that you are in India currently, so I'm not sure if you have started marketing your services outside. Are you globally available as a service?
Yeah. So, you know, for me, the reason that I'm so excited about what I do is because it has a global footprint, right? And I belong to the Young Presidents Organization. We have, like, you know, 48,000 CEOs all over. In fact, 6 countries have already approached me to say, listen, can I get Brazil? Can I get Russia? And that's the beauty, because menopause is not India-centric, right? And perimenopause and menopause and beyond is not India-centric. It's a global issue. So that's the beauty of my business. I just have to have, so we're building a very strong tech platform, which remains. We just have to change the languages, the local doctors, the labs, and boom, we're in business.
Yes, yes, I suppose so. I mean, I was reading a study that said there will be close to 1 billion women in the menopause life stage by 2025. So I think, you know, it is ripe for some form of solutioning over there, given that, you know, it is something that a lot of the women in that pool are likely to experience. So thank you for bringing Mirror out and for ensuring that people have access, women and men have access to menopause solutions. And Ira, thank you for your insights. Again, you know, there's, I think it's 336 million menstruating people in India, roundabouts, of which I would assume 50% of them use disposable. So any change that you are able to make as Asan is definitely a positive change for the environment. So thank you for your insights. Thank you, audience. Any questions? I can't see any, so I'm going to hand the mic back, so to speak, to Simone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Cut you short here, Simone. I take it over from here. Thank you very much, Smita. I think, speaking for all attendants, I can say that was a very fruitful panel discussion that really poked on the hot topics that might be difficult to ask about some questions, but they must be addressed. And yeah, thank you very much also to our panel speakers, Sanjay Shetty and Ira Gua, for being available to all these questions today. I think we got a very good insight about that besides the societal responsibility towards the topic, it is very clear that Femtech is a market with enormous market potential, especially here in India as well. So the market that also needs to be destigmatized, and you presented interesting approaches on how to do that. Also, it's important how to bring everyone together for this common goal, for the common good, meaning the users, the innovators as well, and with that all questions about how to raise funds that Ira has mentioned, how difficult that situation is and how it can be eased. So thank you very much for this panel discussion. Also, to wrap it up for today, I think we have approached the sector from very different angles. In the public sector today, we've seen a versatile batch of innovations who contribute decisively in their segment from very different angles as well. And I think this also showed us that the question of women's health is a broad one, and no universal solution is there, but in concert, we can really make a step forward. And yeah, I think if there are no more questions today, then I think we from Swissnex, we are really convinced that we have not only raised awareness in an Indian environment today, but also enable the transfer of ideas and knowledge today. Also in the next days, we're very happy to address any other questions that may have come up later or any feedback on the event of today. And again, particularly, I want to thank again all our active contributors of today's event. On one hand, Mr. Tamil Selvan, our keynote speaker, but also about all the innovators who have presented in their pitches, and of course our panel contributors. First of all, the moderator, Smita, thank you very much, and Sanjeev and Neha, thank you very much for being here today. Also, I want to thank Invest India and Tech4Eva, with whom we've set up today's event. And I'm very happy to hand it over for some last remarks to Simone, our main host of today. Thank you very much from our side at Swissnex.
Yes, thank you, Adrian, and all the speakers and all the participants for joining today. You just saw on the screen earlier. We hope you can join us also for the upcoming Boston Roadshow, which is also co-organized with Swissnex in Boston, New York. And we will have our closing demo day and conference end of November in a hybrid model. So we hope you can join online and or in person in Lausanne, Switzerland. So thank you again all for joining, and wish you a good day or good evening.
I will quickly start with a short introduction to Startup India. For the audience of who is not aware of this initiative, a flagship initiative by Government of India, which was started approximately 7 years back on 16th January 2016. And today we celebrate it as in the 16th January day as the National Startup Day in India because of this flagship initiative. It was basically started with a vision and mission to support startups in 3 main pillars, including simplification and handholding, funding support and incentives, and thirdly, industry academia partnership and incubation. Since its onset, Startup India has relentlessly been engaging with startups and ecosystem stakeholders over the years to identify the startup needs and offer them plethora of innovative opportunities to support the same. And with this mission and vision, we started with our program of launching global bridges and partnerships and collaborations with the startups and ecosystem enablers. Our 18th bridge with Switzerland was launched in January 2023. And this is the first program that we did under it in January, since January, with Tech4Eva and our partners with Swissnex. We today have approximately 20 bridges, and we are partnering and programming under these bridges enabled to support startups to gain international market access, and also see how best we could converge our efforts to give both the ecosystem players the best of the opportunity. With that idea, I would now like to quickly call upon our first startup. It is a DPIIT startup, recognized startup, Andhera Systems. Andhera has been a pioneering tech-driven company dedicated to revolutionize the global healthcare system with their innovative AI platform, Astra. They have developed Serve Astra, a game-changing point-of-care detection system for cervical cancer, providing quick and affordable, accessible screening solutions to empower women worldwide. I would request Mr. Adarsh Natarajan, the founder of Aindra, to present his views, talk about his experience about the startup, and share his thoughts on the same. Parul, you can move on to the next slide, please.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Surabhi, and hello, everyone. Great to be, on a common platform across India and across the world as well. And thanks, Surabhi, for giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do at Aindra, that's Aindra Systems. Essentially, we are a AI-based computational pathology platform company. Now, what that means is we've developed a platform technology that relies on automating parts of pathology tests and leveraging that platform for detection of certain critical illnesses. Now, with this platform, we are able to take testing of certain critical illnesses to the point of care. And these are all essentially tests like cervical cancer and other forms of cancer as well. So essentially, that's a little bit about us. And we are based out of Bangalore. We've been supported right through our R&D cycle by multiple organizations, which included BIRAC, which is under the DBT, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. We've been supported by the US government through their Indo-US program. We've also been supported by multiple other organizations, including Will Grow and Millennium Alliance and a few others. So today we've launched the product in the market. We've been able to get a significant, traction in the market. We've signed up many gynecologists who are now using our platform for reporting cervical cancer tests for their patients, for walk-in patients. So essentially, our idea is to democratize health, specifically by helping detect certain critical illnesses closer to the people rather than expecting them all to come to a centralized healthcare facility. So I'll just take a pause here, Surabhi, and we'll be happy to kind of talk a little bit about any other specific things that you may have in your agenda.
Thank you, Adarsh, for sharing your thoughts. One quick thing I wanted to touch upon was, what do you think are the opportunities into this sector of femtech and AI-driven solutions for Indian startups as well as European startups?
Okay, great. So that's a great question, Surabhi. So firstly, I'd like to give, I'd like to start with giving some statistics that establish the need for such innovations to be coming in the market, and I would leave it to the audience to kind of plan and decide how they will be able to achieve this, right? So for cervical cancer specifically, we have some extremely disturbing statistics, right, worldwide as well as in India. Worldwide, one woman dies every 2 minutes because of cervical cancer, right? And in India, that's one woman dying every 7 minutes. While those numbers seem, those numbers seem extremely disturbing to me as an innovator, and certainly in India. I couldn't understand
why is it as if?
Sorry?
Parul, can you please go on mute? Others, please continue. Apologies for that disturbance.
All right, sure. So I was just mentioning that those disturbing statistics actually was one of the major motivators for me to use and leverage technology in this particular area of cervical cancer detection. And the whole idea being that there's a vast population of the society, at least in India, which does not reside in major metropolitan cities and therefore lack the facilities to get themselves tested early on, right? And we all know that cancer can turn, the mortality rates are very high as the cancer progresses, and therefore early detection and is a key part of preventing mortalities in cervical cancer. And that's the thesis which we carried on to say that, can we build something for the population who today do not have access to highly skilled and infrastructure that's required to actually do such tests. And that's the reason that we developed this innovation. Having developed this innovation, we realized that our technology can also become a platform that can now be extended to other conditions like oral cancer, breast cancer in biopsies, using biopsies. So essentially, the whole point is that our space has largely been centralized. The healthcare facilities has been centralized, and our focus has not been femtech or female-oriented conditions. And that's where I think innovations like ours and many of the innovators who are today attending this excellent forum can get an opportunity to kind of set that right. And that's a little thing about what I would like to say about what we can do and for the other startups as well that can be done in India and worldwide as well.
Noted. Thank you so much, Adarsh, for sharing your thoughts. You may share your details in the chat box. It will enable collaboration opportunities for you and Indra in specific. Thank you once again for your time, Adarsh.
Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on, our next startup is Janitri Innovations. Janitri leads the way in sustainable technology for improved maternal and child health care, specializing in precise fetal and maternal monitoring. Their patented remote monitoring systems empowers hospitals and clinics to provide early intervention for a safe pregnancy and delivery. We have Mr. Arun Agarwal, founder Janitri, to present his views and share his experience. Over to you, Mr. Agarwal.
Thank you, Surbhi. Hi, everyone. This is Arun, founder of Janitri. We are a Bangalore-based company focusing on 1,000 days journey of pregnancy and newborn monitoring, where almost 250,000 mothers and 2 million newborns are still dying while giving birth globally. That is the problem which we are trying to solve by providing affordable, wearable, and AI-enabled critical vitals monitoring products to the healthcare professionals for these vitals monitoring and for the early decision making. So our first product, which is a patch-based fetal maternal monitoring device, monitors fetal heart rate, contraction, maternal heart rate, and talks to the mobile application for remote and central monitoring for the early decision making, and actually helps overall healthcare professional and mother. So far, so we started our journey in 2016, and with the early support from Government of India in terms of funding, support, mentorship, we have been able to develop the product, deploy the product, done the clinical trial. As of today, our products are there in the 400 plus hospital setup. More than 75,000 pregnancies has been delivered across the country and even outside. More than 5,000 referrals or intervention has been done based on these monitoring and decision making. This is something, and we are a very deep tech company. We have almost 15 patents filed, more than 5 patents have been granted already. So altogether, Janitri's vision is to make sure that we leverage the critical vitals monitoring and early decision making to actually prevent mortality and morbidity during this whole 1,000 days journey, which includes pregnancy, labor, and newborn. And that is with the vision which we are going forward. We were also a part of, we definitely got the early support from Startup India. We're still getting that support in terms of funding and all. We were also part of the recent Shark Tank India season 2, which had helped us in overall further fundraising and taken to the next scale. So I'm happy to interact or take any questions.
Thank you, Arun, for those details. We did see that Shark Tank episode as well, and from Startup India team, we are very proud to see the progress that you have been doing. On those lines, Arun, we had a question on what do you think are or could be strategies for a startup in your domain, Femtech especially, that could help startups to scale up?
Okay, great. So I would say that still, specifically countries like India, we are still heavily oriented or these are still healthcare professional oriented industry, which are the doctor driven industry, right? So whoever are the doctors associated with this femtech industry, for example, in our case, a gynecologist and obstetrician that dominate this particular pregnancy care. So I mean, if you really want to crack any specific problem statement, having those key opinion leader or cracking with them is really going to make a lot of difference. If you are going to avoid those stakeholders, which are doctors, definitely there will be an hindrance. So I would definitely suggest that, I mean, please do consider collaboration with the doctors, which are the decision maker of these industry, specifically to crack that. And going forward, you can have straight away a B2C strategy. But I would say that B2B or B2B2C strategy is going to work better when you're really looking for the Indian market to start with.
Thank you so much for those thoughts, Arun. I'm sure the startups could benefit through those inputs. If you have not already shared your details, please do give your point of contact, LinkedIn profile on the chat so that everybody can get in touch with you and the team. Thank you once again, Arun, for your time. I would now quickly call upon Dr. Jyotsna Mal, Business Development Head from Nirmay Health Analytics. Nirmay is an innovative healthcare technology company renowned for its groundbreaking breast cancer screening solutions, leveraging machine intelligence over thermography images coupled with advanced analytics, AI, and ML algorithms. Nirmay offers a cloud-hosted platform for early and precise breast cancer detection, revolutionizing women's health worldwide. Welcome, Dr. Jyotsna. Over to you.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, as the case may be in all different countries. It's a pleasure to be here on this platform and meet everyone virtually. I'll try to keep this fast pace in the interest of time and try to cover everything in a short capsule. So hi, my name is Dr. Jyotsna Mal and I lead the business development for Europe for Nirmay. Nirmay stands for Non-Invasive Risk Assessment Using Machine Artificial Intelligence. It's a startup that was founded in Bangalore in 2017 by Dr. Geeta Manjunath, who's the founder and the CEO, with 28 years of experience and a PhD in computer sciences. She came up with this breakthrough technology called as thermalytics, which is actually thermal imaging backed by AI that uses skin temperature variations to help detect breast cancer at an early age and early stage in women. Now, while we have established diagnostic methodologies present in this world, like mammography and ultrasound, there are huge gaps that we are seeing where the cases are inconclusive, where they're not able to detect breast cancer in younger women, especially women with dense breasts. And this is where this technology helps to bridge the gap and try to save as many women's lives as possible early on. To give you an idea, we've got around 32 granted patents already. It's one of the most awarded deep tech femtech startup in India, and it was recently nominated in the UN General Assembly just last week to present on the Sustainable Development Goals as well. We've got all the regulatory clearances and the quality approvals in place. And today we have screened close to 120,000 women in India and abroad. And we've got leading awards from the World Bank, from Bill & Gates, Melinda Foundation, MedFit that happened in France last year, and many others. Next slide, please. So as we are aware, breast cancer is becoming a rampant problem, not just in India, but globally. It's becoming one of the leading causes of incidence as well as mortality in women. We are detecting about 2.2 million new cases every year. We are losing close to 684,000 women. And the mortality rate can range anywhere from 16 to 60%. In countries like India, it's almost close to 50%. In Europe, close to 20%. And this is something that, 1 in 12 women is developing some or the other kind of breast abnormality. But all this can be prevented if we can step in early on in this entire cycle and help detect breast cancer early. So the market size is huge. 2 billion women need to be screened globally, and only 10% of them are being screened currently. So there's lots to be done by various startups. Next slide, please. So as we are aware, mammography has been existing since decades. It's the default gold standard for detecting breast cancer, but it has low sensitivity in women less than 45 years of age, as well as women with dense breasts. And dense breasts account for most of the young women less than 45 years and about 50% of women above 50 years. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is because the women with dense breasts have higher propensity to get breast cancer. And they also get more cases of false negative on mammography. And of course, there are questions of affordability in developing countries, accessibility, going to remote areas, radiation, pain and discomfort. The lack of compliance of women to get mammography is because of the pain and discomfort that is also associated. And many women, even in today's time, are using hand to detect breast cancer. So I think we can all change this together. Next slide, please. So this is where Niramai's thermolytics steps in. We can help to detect cancer even before a lump is felt. It is age agnostic. It has no radiation. It is affordable. It's portable. It's light. There's no contact, non-invasive, and it's privacy aware. Next slide, please. So the experience is like that of a privacy pod, a changing room experience, where there's no see, no touch, no pain, no radiation. A woman just enters into this privacy pod, sits on a stool. There's a thermal camera that's placed, which takes 5 images at different angles. It's uploaded to our cloud, our software, and an automated generated report is generated within a fraction of a few seconds, which gives a scoring on 0 to 5 on where you score, which is analogous to our BI-RADS scoring, which we see in mammography. So it will help to show exactly where the problem is, what kind of thermal abnormality we have, along with vascular and hotspot demarcations. So it acts like an aid for the treating radiologist or the clinician to know exactly where the problem may be. Next slide, please. Just to give an extent of our interventions so far, so we have screened close to 120,000 women, run 3,500 plus camps. We are present in 200 plus screening locations. We are now commercial in outside India as well, in Sweden, Bulgaria, Philippines, Kenya, UAE, and we have multiple ongoing pilots which are ongoing in Europe, UK, and US. Next slide, please. And of course, the next question must be coming, have you done any clinical studies? Where do you fare with mammography and others? So we have about 33 peer-reviewed articles. Our last one, which was actually published in Lancet Journal, where we screened close to 14,000 women. This particular study was published in the ASCO Breakthrough, which is American Society of Clinical Oncology. And we saw a screening sensitivity in asymptomatic women almost close to 100% as compared to 67% that of mammography. And so, we have many other studies to show how we have fared in terms of our accuracy, and to show that it can be, next established non-inferior tool to use for screening population. Next slide, please. And of course, in terms of our go-to-market strategy, we can either go direct with the care providers, hospital diagnostic centers, private clinics, or outreach segments, as the case may be in developing or developed country, through employee wellness, home screenings, CSR activities, pharmaceutical tie-ups, and eventually look for insurance and government tie-ups for long-term sustainability. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. So this is just to give you an idea of, the thermal images which are taken and our AI algorithms run in the background and how an automated report is generated. This is all SaaS-based, cloud-hosted, and it's EU GDPR compliant. Next slide, please. This is an example of a report where you take in all the patient details and you have a scoring which is generated on a scale of 0 to 5, and it shows exactly where the problem may be and how the women fares in terms of being benign or malignant or borderline. Next slide, please. This is just to show our install base in terms of hospitals, pharmaceutical NGOs, and the corporates that we have tied up with so far. Next slide, please. And our mission is, of course, to keep working in the Femtech sector. And we've just started our journey with breast cancer, but eventually we want to lead to whole body scan. And for that, we're always open to collaborative opportunities. And next slide, please. And we're also on the lookout for next round of investments. So far, we have raised about $7 million US dollars. And yeah, we're open to the next round. Next slide, please. And of course, the market size is huge globally for collaborative opportunities, be it in terms of annual cancer screenings or pregnancy, cancer treatment monitoring, or annual health checkup follow-ups. Next slide, please. And we have a strong leadership team, which is present both India and overseas. And we're trying to have the best of the brains to work behind this and save as many women lives as possible. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have close to 33 peer-reviewed articles published, which are readily accessible, and I'm happy to share them for review if you want to discuss it with your clinicians, and we can have a brainstorming session on how to collaborate. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think that was it. I would like to share my contact details as well on the chat, and I'm happy to any questions.
Thank you for that extensive presentation, Dr. Jyotsna. Thank you for your time. I'm sure we can take the discussions separately. We have already overshot our allocated time, but it was very insightful, and I think you've almost answered all our queries already. Thank you once again. Over to you, Simone.
So next up we have Kaustup, one of your colleagues, Rabi, investment specialist at Invest India. And the floor is yours. I believe you have slides to share, but if you can then I'll stop sharing mine. And you can share your screen. The floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Kaustup Chaturvedi, and I'll be presenting about the India opportunity, basically the opportunity to set up business, work in India, or set up your business, or grow your business in India, and serve not only the Indian population but even to the world from India. So I'll be representing Invest India and presenting the India opportunity today. So this has been a remarkable year for India as we celebrate 75 years of our independence, and this is where our report card stands today. Since independence, we have grown our GDP by 500 times, our exports by 500 times as well. Our GDP by 100 times and exports by 500 times as we continue to be the fastest growing large economy globally. As you see, we are one of the largest internet users in the world. We are second in the world at this point of time with 830 million internet users, and it is like the world's largest digitally connected democracy. As we recently concluded our G20 presidency, our GDP growth has steadily outpaced all our partners in the G20. Today, we are the third in the world in PPP terms and fifth in the nominal terms of GDP. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, our GDP has grown 100 times, which is currently at $3.5 trillion within the 75 years of democracy in India. Our exports have risen 500 times. Highest ever exports of $770 billion took place from India in the fiscal year 2022-23. Some of our driving factors has been that we are the second largest working population in the world with the median age of 29 years. We have become the fifth largest economy in nominal terms, overtaking the UK last year, and continue to be the fastest growing large economy. A little bit about how the export has been happening in India. Our exports in terms of fiscal year grew nearly 14% last year. And electronics and rice and oil meals have been some of the export basket growth for us. Our services exports even grew at 26.8% to $322.7 billion in the last fiscal year. The government has been investing heavily and promoting investments in infrastructure for faster movement of goods and civilians alike. Indian Railways is nearing completion of 2 dedicated freight corridors, while 3 others are in the planning stage, and high-speed rail corridors are being developed to improve and fasten civilian movements. We are targeting to increase 7 times in aviation trips by the year 2047. Today, we are the fastest growing large economy. In terms of our digital economy, we have been outgrowing at double the rate of our overall economy. We have more than 1.2 billion mobile phone users, out of which 750 million use smartphones. We have more than 350 districts covered under the 5G. And we are on our growth trajectory to targeting to be a $1 trillion digital economy by 2025. As Surbi mentioned, Our economy is driven by the innovation. We have almost 17 international startup bridges, out of which 8 are with the European countries, including Switzerland. Our startup ecosystem is so diverse that 49% of them are based out of tier 2 and tier 3 cities, with at least one recognized startup in every state and union territory of India. India has steadily emerged as a strong partner for research and innovation, as we rank #1 in Global Innovation Index in Central and South Asia. We have jumped 41 positions since the year 2015. India is home to 180 innovation centers belonging to Fortune 500 companies, some of them being the largest R&D centers outside of their home, such as Qualcomm's largest design center outside of the US is based in India, and General Electric's largest lab outside of the USA is based in India. Now I will share with you some of the steps to reform which have been taken by the government of India to reform ease of doing business in India. Through the new corporate tax code, corporate tax levy on new units is at 15%, one of the lowest globally. Through production-linked incentives, government is providing financial incentives in 14 sectors to promote domestic production. The number of sectors will increase as the government prepares to roll out the similar schemes for other sectors. Furthermore, duty has been exempted on domestically manufactured goods for exports. The government has set up specialized teams in 29 ministries called Project Development Cells to assist investors and offer ready-to-invest projects. India has jumped over 79 positions over the last 5 years in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking, with 300 plus reforms across 72 action points for state governments to develop investor-friendly ecosystem and 40,000 plus compliances reduced to improve industrial ecosystem. The National Single Window System portal hosts approval from 28 ministries and 21 states and union territories on a single platform. With this portal, we aim to eliminate information asymmetry by providing guidance on the approvals required by any business based on a simple dynamic questionnaire. PM Gati Shakti, it is a GIS-based technology platform aiming to improve multimodal connectivity, logistics efficiency, and ensure seamless movement of goods and services. It brings together 16 ministries, including railways and roadways, together for integrated planning and coordinated implementation of infrastructure connectivity projects. National Logistics Policy aims to bring down the cost of logistics operations in the country from 14% of the GDP to below 10% by the year 2030. The policy seeks to digitally integrate the logistics ecosystem for seamless flow of data. Through the Open Network for Digital Commerce, we aim to provide interoperability to e-commerce platforms and enable matchmaking. The government has come up with a vision to 2047, which is a roadmap for India at 100, that is 100 years of our independence. As we continue on our journey of growth, we have laid out some targets, such as to be the second largest economy at $32 trillion, with FDI reaching $1 trillion and exports growing to $8 trillion by 2047. We will have the largest and youngest working population, with the middle class and tier 2 and tier 3 cities being the driver of economic growth. We aim to see our FDI grow to 12 times by the year 2047 as well. I would like to conclude by explaining what our organization, Invest India, does. We are the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation arm of the Government of India, housed under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We are the executing arm of the Make in India program and provide free of cost end-to-end facilitation and hand-holding support to companies looking to either invest or expand in India across their investment cycle. Thank you.